I want you guys to be able to see what I'm talking about up here, so that's why I'm going to do this.
Is that thing? Yeah, like little camera?
No.
Chill.
Your voice just went on.
All right, so, like I said, I will show this up here. I don't know if I'm going to post this, but it's just so you guys can, I'm going to use my webcam so you can see what's going on up here instead of just me telling you what you're going to see. Okay. All right, so here's the burner, right? Thanks. So here's the burner, right? They all come attached with a hose, right? Green hose. They all have this big rubber. It looks like a rubber stopper on the end of it. It's hollow there because we'll use that in just a second, okay? But this is the burner part, right? So the burner part has two controls on it. On the bottom, there is a screw here, right? This controls the flow of gas into the burner, right? So the gas comes in through the tube. Down here in the bottom, right, it comes into the burner part. This controls the flow of gas. So if I do it righty-tighty, right, I can stop the flow of gas into the burner even if the gas jet is on full blast. Okay? So you need to make sure that this is open before you light the burner. How much? I can't really tell you that. As long as gas flows in. You don't want this to happen. Right, if you lefty-loosey and this happens, okay, that's too much, right? Okay. If that happens while the burner is lit, you could get some fire coming out of the bottom here, right? Okay. So let's face it, you guys probably want to see, but I don't want to see. So okay, so here, right? We'll turn it in. We'll righty-tighty it, not to the point that it's all the way closed, but there's some opening, right? Then this part, okay, the top part from here down to here, this is all one piece, and it can spin. It can go lefty-loosey. It can go righty-tighty, okay? Here, it's okay to turn any part of it. It really doesn't matter because it's not on and it's not hot. But if it's lit, you would only want to touch down here on this wider part up here. This part gets hot pretty quickly as soon as you touch. There's a reason why we have to do it. Why we have to touch it. Okay,
wait,
go ahead, Alex.
How come the lady in the video was like touching the middle part?
How high? This is where the fire happens up here. Yeah. So the farther away you are from that, the cooler it's going to be. Right, so I would recommend down here on this part here, just because it's the farthest away from the fire. You know, there aren't any international guidelines as far as where you should touch it, but you know, so yeah. So I first am going to righty-tighty it all the way down, okay, for lighting purposes and for demonstration purposes. So this is closed all the way. This is open some. Okay, good. Yeah. All right. Let's shift our focus over to here. Okay. At each of your lab stations, there are two separate gas jets. Your gas jets are set up where one is coming out this way and one is coming out that way. They're like completely opposite of one another. Mine are just set up as an angle because I have limited space up here. So, but they're set up the same way. You will see that each one of them has a blue cap on it, and that blue cap says gas because that's where the gas comes out. Yeah. All right? Yes, Julie. Yes, that's the thing you wanted to turn on yesterday, and I wouldn't let you. Okay. All right. So the gas jet has two parts. This tapered part right here, and let's see if I can focus it a little better. Apparently not. Yep. All right. So this tapered part here, it looks like it has little teeth on it. That's the part where you're going to stick the hose. That's where the gas actually comes out. This part up on the top that starts with the blue button that says gas, and then this part here, that's the handle. That controls the flow of gas. Right now, the gas is off because the handle and the nozzle are perpendicular to one another. They are 90 degrees. Okay, math term, yes. If it's perpendicular, the gas is off. The closer this handle is to being parallel with the jet, the more gas is on. So if I go here, this is like full blast gas. That's no gas. Okay? Perpendicular either side, it doesn't matter. So this is off, and that's off too. So you have two ways to turn it off, but only one way to turn it on. Okay? Okay.
In the middle, it's the height.
In the middle, like when the handle is in line with the gas jet nozzle, that's like full blast. Okay? All right, good there? Yeah. All right, so let's go here. All right, so there's Mr. Horwat. So, okay. All right, so the rubber part, the empty rubber part of the hose that's attached to the Bunsen burner. This gets stuck onto the gas jet. Okay, doesn't screw on. You just push it as hard as you can. Okay, push it as far as you can, and then yeah, you can smell the gas. It'll go away in a little bit. So then, okay, there we go. All right, it'll look. See if I can actually get the whole picture. There we go. All right, it'll look something like this. If the hose isn't straight, that's fine. All right. The one thing you do want to avoid, though, is right. You want to make sure that the burner is flat on the table. Okay. Sometimes the hose can get twisted in a way that, like, it does this, or it just doesn't quite lay flat on the table like that. Twist the hose in a way that the burner lays flat on the table. Okay? Good there. All right. Are we ready for some magic?
Yeah.
Right.
Do we have to all put on our goggles?
You can if you would like. You don't have to because I'm here, but you know.
Okay.
All right. So, in order to light the burner, you need a flame. That flame is going to be provided. That flame is going to be provided by a match. In the open cabinet behind Madeline back there, there are. That's the chemistry cabinet. You guys have already used the graduated cylinders. Up on the top shelf, there are some big boxes that say matchbooks on them. I have one up here already. Okay, so we will use matches to provide the spark to light the flame. Yeah, they're from Drug Mart. Okay. All right. So here's what I would suggest to you.
He's sponsored by it. Yeah, he had ads.
All right. So here's what I would suggest to you. First, open the matchbook. Second, tear a match out. Third, close the matchbook again. Do this.
I thought you were supposed to flip it over. And like you put like a sandwich in.
You could do that, although you run the risk of setting the matchbook on fire because I'm just saying you run the risk. If it's been done several times, that wax might be worn away. So okay. All right. So do this before you mess with the gas at all. Okay. All right. After you have done this and you've got your match ready, now it's time to start the flow of gas. Remember we said there were two ways to start the flow of gas, or to control gas flow. One is this screw down at the bottom right here. Once your burner is set up, that screw's pretty much off limits. Okay, it's just hard to get to. Yes, Al?
Are you going to say how to light a match?
I will show you if you would like. Yes, okay. Honestly, that's mostly just practice. So, Yep. All right. So, what you do, you go to your gas jet, and you start the flow of gas. How much? That takes practice, okay? What you will find is that when you turn the gas on just a little bit, pretty much nothing happens. It doesn't allow enough gas to flow through to get this lit, okay? You're going to turn it on probably about 3/4 of the way between off and full blast. And when you do, you'll hear gas coming out of the burner. Okay? We can close that for now, okay, because I'm not ready to do that. All right, so got my burner. There we go. Actually, I'll give you a little bit more perspective here so we can get all the awesomeness that's about to ensue. All right. Oh.
You need a cameraman.
I do need a cameraman, but
Neo,
okay.
Neo Sports Fix, maybe.
All right, so here we go. Okay, first, before lighting the match, this might be a two-person job, especially if you're not very good at lighting a match. Right? You might want to have one person on the gas and one person on the match. Okay, so Alex, this is how I light the match. All right, so on the matchbook, first make sure it's closed. Okay, second, there's a rough black strip on the one side of it. Okay, this is how I do it. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing it this way, but this is how I do it. I'll put the match down like this, okay, and I'll put my one finger over it, so I'm like pushing down. But that requires coordination because you have to make sure you lift your finger before it starts on fire. The other way you can do it, is you can just kind of hold it at an angle to the so kind of like that, and then just sort of push down as you're striking across. But if you push, either way really doesn't matter. Although it's probably easier if you go. Yeah, kind of like this. Like, can you see the picture up? Can you see the picture? Like, I'm in the way. I'm sorry. So. Okay. So anyway, this is more of a practice thing. All right. The other option that you have is you can flip the matchbook over like this. Okay. Oh, you can flip the matchbook over like this. Put the match on the rough black part. Okay, and then close the matchbook on top of it like this. Yeah, I'm saying this is an option, but you do run the risk of possibly setting the matchbook on fire.
Wait, did you just like pull it out?
Yep.
Or do you
Pull it out. All right, you want here? Ready? Okay.
That was amazing.
It's okay. We have like each of those boxes has 50 matchbooks, and I have 6 boxes back there, so we're good. Yeah. It's about 300 matches, but I've already used 5 of them. So. All right, so that's 300 match books, but in each match book there are how many matches?
I don't know.
All right, so here's what we do. Okay. So now, in doing it my way, because I'm pretty decent at lighting the match, and I've done it a lot, and I'm confident, right? I'm going to start the flow of gas first. Okay. So I'm going to turn it, like I said, about 3/4 of the way. Okay. Then I'm going to light the match. Okay. And then I'm going to bring it in from the side. Don't bring it down from the top. Bring it in from the side. No. You do not want to roast marshmallows on this. Well, one, it's gas, and two, like, these burners they get used all year, and sometimes chemicals get like down in them and stuff like that, and you don't want that. So, okay. All right. First, before we adjust this flame, all right? I have the match that I used to light the burner. It's out now, okay? But it's still pretty hot, okay? Don't throw it in the garbage, all right? Just put it on the table, somewhere away from papers, somewhere away from people. Probably right next to the gas jet is a pretty decent spot, okay? But make sure it's just away from other things, so, okay? Until it cools down, then at the end of the period you can throw it in the garbage. Okay. So, let's talk about this flame. Okay? Right now, this is not a lab burner, this is a flamethrower, all right? Yeah. And you don't want, well, okay, again, you might want that, but I don't want that.
Yeah.
It didn't really get that much bigger. So. Okay, so we have to adjust this. 2 things we have to adjust. What are the 2 things we have to adjust for people who watched the video last night? Size of the flame and? No, that's just the size of the flame. What's the other thing? Does this flame look like what it's supposed to look like? And it's got to be blue, right? So let's talk about the color of the flame first, all right? Right now, this flame is yellow because 2 reasons. One, it doesn't have enough oxygen. And as a result, it's not very hot. This, relatively speaking, it's still hot enough to burn you and burn papers and stuff like that, okay? But it's not as hot as some of the burner flame could be because it doesn't have enough oxygen to make the reaction go the way it's supposed to. So this part of the burner, right, the wide part of the burner down here, right, or actually this whole thing, this controls the flow of oxygen into the burner. Right now, remember we closed it up righty-tighty all the way so that no air from the outside is getting in. We're going to open that so that more air gets in, and that will change the color of the flame. So, Alex, here, right? I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to touch it down in this part down here, right? Don't touch it up on the top up here, right? Bring it as low as we can. So I'm going to open it up.
Wait, that controls the oxygen level?
Yeah, because there, like you can see when you get up close, like the more you unscrew it, there's actually some openings here, and it lets air in from the bottom.
Controls the gas.
Yep. Yes.
The lady didn't say that on the
Oh my god, it's invisible!
Ah. So now.
Someone's gonna want to
So.
Someone can catch on fire and they wouldn't even know it.
As.
Wait, when you say behind you, you can see it.
They're gonna like walk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as.
Stand right behind it.
Wait, that is so cool.
It gets blue when you stand
Oh my
behind it.
god!
So, as Aaron has indicated for us, right, when it turns blue, it's a lot harder to see. Meaning, you could catch on fire and not know, well, you would know when you caught on fire, hopefully, right? But, hey, but that means when we are using the flame, right, make sure we're not reaching across the table. Make sure that we put the flame closer to the middle of the table so that it's as far away from other people as we can. All right? So, the blue flame. All right? Next, let's adjust size. We adjust the size by the flow of gas. Okay? At this point, we control the flow of gas with the handle. So I'm going to turn the handle so that it's closer to perpendicular, and that will make the size of the flame go down. If you go too fast, you'll turn out the flame, and you'll have to light it again, okay? And there it is. Maybe about, let's go this way. Maybe about the size of your finger, all right? That's about as tall as we're good, okay? All right, the other thing, and it's definitely hard to see. Let's see if we can do this, okay? Session, will you do something for me? Next to the door, next to the cabinet in there, there are those 3 red switches. Will you push them all and turn the lights off? Whoa.
It looks really cool.
Okay, so the one thing I want to point out to you guys, inside, I'm not sticking, I'm just pointing. Inside, you can see that there is a little triangle. Can we see the triangle inside of it? Okay. That triangle is important to know where it is, because up here on the board, can you guys see the board now? It's dark or no?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
it's like
I thought that was a house that
Nope.
seemed really excited.
So the black part is the burner. The blue part is the flame. So you have the triangle inside, and then you have the rest of the flame on the outside. The inside part of the triangle is where the air and the gas are mixing, but the reaction is not actually occurring in that part of the flame. It's very, relatively speaking, it is cold there. There's not a lot of heat. If I take a match and put it right on top of the Bunsen burner, right?
Let's see.
It won't, because it's not hot, all right?
Now do it over. Now do it over.
This hot, at the top of the cone, the top of the triangle on the inside, that's the hottest part. When we're heating things, that's where we want our heating to be. If we put the match there, right, okay, right away, because it's pretty hot in that spot there, okay? So, that's how we adjust the flame, right? I've got a little bit of yellow on the top of my flame. I could open up my gas jet or my air port a little bit more and get rid of that yellow, okay? And actually, you can see the triangle pretty well in there as well, okay?
Oh, there's some yellow.
All right, questions. So, last thing, right? If something goes wrong in the lab, there's a spill, something catches on fire, somebody gets burned, before you tell me you should do something else,
Hit that button. Hit that button.
turn the gas off, all right? That's like, if there's like a room-wide emergency, all right, then that will turn the gas off in the whole room. But like, you know, if like one of your papers catch on fire, or like I talked about before, like sometimes we're heating a beaker and there's a little crack in it and we didn't see it before, and it will break, and the stuff that you're heating, the water will just like go everywhere. It may extinguish the flame, but the gas will still be running. So if something goes wrong, the first thing you do, turn the gas off, all right, and then we can address it. Okay? Questions? No. But on Monday, we will come in. You guys will light the burner, Then we'll talk about heating the water. You just have to live with this anticipation all weekend of, you know. I thought we were going to do it today, but we didn't get there. So. All right. I will post this if you guys would like, and, you know.